dark fantasy comic written by Neil Gaiman took sci-fi aficionados by storm, and when Netflix came up with their adaptation of the story, people couldn't keep calm. Considered to be one of the most honest adaptations in the history of television, Netflix's Sandman is a bit too grounded in its source material, and for all the right reasons. However, the lore itself is quite rich, and there are innumerable amazing characters who are as powerful as they are twisted. Some have really disturbing backstories, while others are a victim of their own nature. So in this video, we will explore the 16 most important members of the Sandman family. From parents to grandchildren, we have covered it all. Without further ado, let's begin, shall we? Before we go into our explanation, we have a very small request. If you like our content, please support us by subscribing to our channel. This is a small click for you, but for us, it means a lot. Thank you. Let's begin. Time, aka Father Time. In the beginning was time, the relentless beat in which things could happen, in which everything could become, dust could coalescence, matter could exist. Father Time is often regarded as the embodiment of primordial time and existence itself. He's considered the protagonist of the endless, yes, the group of powerful beings representing various aspects of existence. Father Time serves as the personification of time and holds dominion over this fundamental concept. Together with his partner Night, he played a pivotal role in the creation of the universe as we know it. In the present day, Father Time and Night have become estranged from their offspring, though they maintain occasional contact. They live separate lives and spend most of their existence apart. Nevertheless, Father Time harbors a sense of longing for Night. Father Time undergoes a continuous and seemingly random transformation, cycling from a youthful boy to a middle-aged man, and then to an elderly figure. In his youthful form, he bears a striking resemblance to his son Destruction and his daughter Delirium, both of whom share his distinctive red hair. Despite his solitude, Father Time prefers to maintain distance from his children, suspecting that their visits are primarily driven by personal interests. Destiny, however, is an exception, as he seeks nothing from Father Time, having received his inherent role as a birthright. Night, aka Mother Night. Before the beginning was the night, and the night was without boundaries, and the night was without end. Mother Night was first seen in the Sandman overture, and she represented the embodiment of the absolute void that predated the creation of the universe itself. As I mentioned earlier, she is the mother of the endless, but most of her origin story is shrouded in mystery. As the mother of the endless, she has little to no interest in her offspring. In her first appearance in Overture, Night is depicted in her realm, immersed in a pool of darkness while singing a captivating tune that draws the attention of her son Dream. After Dream's visit with his father, he approaches Night, who displays a more modest and calm personality compared to Time. Night offers Dream refuge in her domain, where he would receive a small imitation of his own realm. However, Dream declines the offer, prompting Night to expel him and condemn him to a black hole. Night also has a detachment from the fabric of reality and displays a profound self-centeredness. She appears to play favorites among her children, lavishing attention on some while neglecting others. Her interactions with her children are infrequent, limited mainly to brief visits from Destiny and Delirium. Over an extended period, Night seems unaware of her daughter's despair transformation and her son Destruction's abandonment of his realm and responsibilities to wander. Despite her overall indifference to her children, Night did have a certain degree of fondness for Dream, and that's why she offered him solace in her realm as the universe neared its end, allowing him to visit her whenever he wished. Interestingly, and rather surprisingly, Night possesses a deeper understanding of her children than they have of themselves. She can perceive the striking similarities in person between Dream and Desire, despite their mutual disdain. Despite her decision to distance herself from Time, Night still appears to harbor some attachment to him, much like he does for her. Destiny. Destiny, the eldest among the endless, is the embodiment of destiny itself. In ancient Greek mythology, he was referred to as Patmos. As the universe came to existence, his role became more important, shaping the lives and destinies of not just people, but everything else. Destiny presides over his domain called the Garden of Forking Ways. The place is basically a labyrinth that is only accessible through all mazes, attended by silent and rather mysterious fluttering servants. According to the in-universe universe history, Destiny's existence began with the emergence of sentient life forms capable of having destinies in the universe. Having said that, he mostly assumes the role of an observer of creation rather than an active participant. But this passive role of an observer came to a halt roughly 100,000 years ago when Despair, one of the Endless, met her demise. Destiny and his siblings undertook the task of laying her to rest in the Necropolis, a city dedicated especially to serve as the resting ground of such entities. However, the Necropolitans had lost their enthusiasm for their duties and were unaware of the city's arrangement with the Endless. When they were asked for Despair's remnants, the Book of Rituals, they didn't take things seriously. In an uncharacteristic display of emotion, Destiny revoked the city's charter, which basically declared its end. A powerful wind swept through, reducing the necropolis to rubble. Destiny's role as an observer of reality is almost always guided through his book, and his interventions are typically dictated by the narrative requirement of the book. In his demeanor, Destiny rarely displays any strong emotions and maintains a stoic and unflappable demeanor. He remains focused on his purpose and finds discomfort in anything of a fanciful or imaginary nature. However, there are isolated instances where Destiny's personal preferences seem to influence his behavior, leading him to withhold information from his siblings. Despite his formidable powers, Destiny, like the other members of the Endless, adheres to a complex set of rules and customs. He cannot shed the blood of his own family, as doing so would forfeit his protection as the personification of destiny from the other Endless. Falling in love with a mortal is prohibited, as it guarantees the poor soul's imminent downfall. And lastly, the challengers of the unknown exist outside of Destiny's control and can alter predestined events. They do not appear in the Book of Souls, adding a layer of unpredictability to the course of Destiny.
I'm so sorry, Sam.
But we're on a honeymoon.
Your time's up.
Death. When the last living thing dies, my job will be finished. I'll put the chairs on the tables, turn out the lights, and lock the universe behind me when I leave. Death, the second oldest of the Endless and the sister of Dream, is also known as Telute in ancient Greek mythology. Her character undergoes significant development, evolving from a cold and pragmatic individual billions of years ago to a more kind-hearted and upbeat individual at the present. Death's unique role in the universe involves two encounters with all beings. At birth, she gives them the breath of life, and at the end of existence, she guides them into the afterlife. You can often find her declaring that she will tidy up and close the door when the universe meets its end. She derives immense satisfaction from her job and approaches it with utmost seriousness. Well, that's unlike so many of us. She sometimes takes the role of a maternal elder sister, often serving as Dream's confidant, offering advice and pointing out his flaws. She doesn't hesitate to express her frustrations with Despair and Desire for their disruptive games that interfere with the affairs of the Endless. In fact, Death shares a particularly close bond with Dream, and he frequently seeks her counsel. Despite her vast power, authority, knowledge, and influence, she remains remarkably easygoing and humble as the second oldest among the Endless. Death has become a peacemaker among her siblings. She has a genuine affection for humanity, and is a member of the Endless who is most capable of relating to and understanding humans. Some interpret the concept that an Endless loving a mortal ensures their downfall as reversed in Death's case, since everyone eventually faces death, and thus Death's love signifies a universal experience. However, Death's character was not always as she is today. At the dawn of time, she considered her role the most challenging among the Endless, leading to unhappiness. When nothing died, chaos prevailed, promoting her to return to her realm, where she became hard and cold and brittle inside. Transformation in her perspective occurred when she was asked by someone she collected, "How would you like it?" This question led her to experience one day as a mortal, and this altered her perception of her job. She decided that most beings would welcome the company of a friend at the end of their existence, and since then she struggled to become just that. As the second oldest Endless, she's extremely powerful and nearly omnipresent and omniscient.
Please.
Dream, aka Sandman. I walk across the dreaming sands under the pale moon, through the dreams of countries and cities, past dreams of places long gone, and times beyond recall. As should be expected, Dream came into existence when organisms became capable of dreaming. Dream, the third eldest of the Endless, is heroic in nature, but is also riddled with flaws. He often struggles to grasp sarcasm and jests, which can make him appear cold and humorless. Dream is occasionally insensitive, self-absorbed, and slow to forgive perceived slights. His history is marked by a series of failed romances, and he tends to react harshly when these relationships meet their end. Mervyn Pumpkinhead, one of his companions, points out that Dream tends to adopt the role of a tragic figure, mourning lost loves in the rain. This emotional turbulence has repercussions, leading to dreams filled with existential angst and causing discomfort among walking. Dream harbors a long-standing enmity with Desire, which stems from their involvement in the dissolution of one of Dream's romantic relationships. Furthermore, Desire's self-centeredness rivals Dream's, amplifying the friction between them. Before his imprisonment, Dream was much colder, which had been explored throughout the Sandman TV series. Much of the narrative focuses on Dream's desire to atone for past mistakes, include his involvement with past lovers such as Calliope and Nada. However, Dream is quite serious about his responsibilities, both towards individuals and his realm. As I mentioned earlier, his elder sister Death plays a pivotal role in their symbiotic relationship, which is based on dependence and trust. Throughout the series, Dream is shown to be on a journey of self-discovery and seeks to understand both himself and his fellow Endless, especially Death. Following his reincarnation, Dream undergoes a noticeable transformation, displaying greater kindness and compassion. He shows an array of newfound behaviors, such as petting the hippogriff and making decisions based on forgiveness rather than revenge, as observed when he frees Lyda Hall and Alexander Burgess.
You came.
You're cold.
Calliope, Dream's wife. Calliope, the youngest of the 9 muses in Greek mythology, serves as the mother of Orpheus by Dream. In 1927, on Mount Helicon, Calliope was captured by Erasmus Fry, who held her captive for several decades. During this time, he repeatedly subjected her to rape, which was his idea of seeking inspiration for his writing. Calliope's suffering under Fry's abuse inadvertently fueled his literary success, leading to the creation of notable works like Here Comes a Candle. In 1989, Fry sold Calliope to another writer, Richard Maddock, who continued to hold her as a source of inspiration, effectively making her his creative slave. After enduring this prolonged torment, Calliope sought help from the Furies, a trio of ancient witches with various names. They advised her to seek assistance from her former lover, Morpheus, who was also imprisoned at the time. Upon his escape from captivity and the regaining of his power, Dream took it upon himself to rescue Calliope. Maddock, fearing the loss of his muse, faced a unique punishment from Morpheus, which honestly felt like poetic justice. He was inundated with a relentless stream of ideas, rendering him unable to concentrate on any single thought. This experience brought Maddock to the brink of madness. Eventually, Morpheus liberated Calliope, and in a merciful turn, she asked him to release Maddock from his torment. Dream granted her request, and after bidding farewell to Dream, Calliope returned freely to the gods, her smile marking the end of her terrible ordeal. Orpheus, Dream's son. Orpheus, the legendary bard of Greek mythology, is the son of Dream and Calliope. On the fateful day of his wedding to Eurydice, his bride succumbed to a snake bite. Overwhelmed by grief, Orpheus beseeches his father, also known as Oneirus, for help to bring Eurydice back to life. When Oneirus refuses to assist, Orpheus disowns him. With reluctant aid from Uncle Otheros and Aunt Telute, Orpheus embarks on a journey to the Greek underworld ruled by Hades. There he successfully persuades Hades to release Eurydice on the condition that he does not look back during their journey to the surface. However, plagued by doubt about Hades keeping his word, Orpheus glances back just before reaching the outside world, causing Eurydice to be lost in the underworld forever. Orpheus sinks into a life of misery, isolating himself from others. His encounter with the Maenads during the Bacchic orgy ended terribly as they tore him apart, leaving only his head. Due to his previous dealings with death and his time with Hades, Orpheus is condemned to eternal existence as nothing more than a severed head. In 1789, Lady Joanna Constantine strikes a deal with Dream to retrieve Orpheus's head. Despite its challenges, Joanna successfully completes the mission. Orpheus is then taken to the remote island of Naxos, where Dream establishes an order of priests responsible for his care. Orpheus remains under the protection of the order of priests until the events of Brief Lives. During this storyline, Dream unites him with his son after centuries apart. Although initially reluctant, Dream seeks Orpheus's help in locating his missing brother, Destruction. In exchange, Orpheus requests a solemn solemn favor from his father, that Dream end his life. Dream grants Orpheus's wish and brings his son's existence to a close. Droplets of Orpheus's blood fall to the ground, giving rise to a new flower at each spot where they land. The act of Dream taking the life of his own son is what set the stage for retribution by the Three, who appears as the Furies, goddesses of vengeance targeting Dream for committing filicide. Destruction, the fourth eldest of the Endless, was known as Oltheros to the ancient Greeks. He assumed his role as the embodiment of destruction and creation when the universe came into being. Among his siblings, he was the only one to abandon his realm and duties, earning him the nickname the Prodigal. His former realm, the Fulcrum, now stands deserted and perpetually in a state of mid-explosion, and contains only a large black sword. During his travels, he was accompanied by a dog named Barnabas, who later found a new home with his sister Delirium. Destruction, like the other Endless, emerged shortly after the creation of the universe, following destiny, death, and dream. Unlike living beings or gods, he represented destruction itself, facilitating change by destroying to make way for creation. Despite being Dream's younger sibling, he often plays the role of a wise and caring big brother, mediating disputes and providing comfort during moments of transition and showering despair with affection. However, Destruction's departure was precipitated by his foresight. He anticipated that the rise of science among humans would lead to its use as a destructive force on a global scale. That smells like Oppenheimer. Unwilling to bear responsibility for the immense devastation, including the potential obliteration of entire civilizations, he chose to abandon his duties sometime after 1718. Why 1718? Well, his decision was primarily motivated by the advent of the human age of reason, during which scientific advancements, particularly Isaac Newton's theory that light and matter are interconvertible, came to the forefront. This theory, first appearing in Newton's third book of Optics in 1718, signaled the potential for profound destruction through scientific means. Despair. Take away the despair and there's nothing left. Nothing but an empty room, and a hook of the perfect shape and size for snagging your heart. Despair, one of the Endless, met her demise 100,000 years ago, which made her the first time an Endless to die and be replaced by a new aspect of herself. The circumstances surrounding the death of the original Despair remain shrouded in mystery. In the Wake storyline, Dream cryptically tells Hippolyta that the individual responsible for the first Despair's death will endure an eternal suffering. In the 19th century in San Francisco, Despair got a contest with Dream, challenging him over the fate of a failed businessman. The contest aimed to determine which of them held greater influence over the lives of mortals. Dream intervened in the half of Joshua Abraham Norton, granting him the dream of being Emperor Norton I. This dream prevented Norton from descending into the depths of despair and shielded him from the traps set by desire and delirium. Consequently, Dream emerged as the victor of the contest, much to the chagrin of Desire. In subsequent years, Despair frequently participated in schemes and games of her twin Desire, although her role typically leaned toward that of a spectator. Delirium. Delirium, previously Delight, is the youngest among the Endless and Dream's sister. In ancient Roman mythology, she's known as Mania and evolved into Delirium for reasons shrouded in mystery, reasons that predate the story. True to her name, Delirium is known for her scattered thoughts and easy distraction. She frequently loses track of her conversations and offers unconventional and seemingly inconsequential observations. She has a rather playful personality, finding ecstatic joy in various occurrences, like being held above the ground by the wyvern or witnessing destiny split into multiple incarnations before her. However, she can swiftly respond with anger to rudeness, occasionally imposing merciless punishments, often taking the form of madness. Delirium possesses a unique form of prophetic knowledge, though her prophecies typically come only when it's too late to act upon them. Somewhat like Helena Tarragon from House of the Dragon. Her fellow Endless, particularly Death and Destruction, do have a lot of love and affection for her and are protective of her. Initially fearful of Dream, Delirium's relationship with him transforms during the events of Brief Lives. In the Kindly One's storyline, she desperately tries to save Dream from impending doom by urging him to join her on the quest to find Barnabas, but Dream declines.
Lovely to see you. Can I get you anything you desire?
Desire. Desire, the third youngest among the endless, and the twin of despair, embodies concepts like longing, lust, attraction, and craving. In ancient Greek mythology, desire was known as epimuta. Desire has a remarkable ability to blend seamlessly into any environment and reside within a massive living statue called the Threshold, shaped in their image, which is crafted from flesh and blood. Desire's symbol is a heart made of cut glass. I use the pronoun there because desire can change gender. Throughout history, desire has shaped various events. One notable incident involved their interference in Dream's romantic relationship with Kilia of the Glow, which created a rift between Desire and Dream. Later, Desire played a part in rescuing Dream from captivity in the Dreaming by introducing Aliorna as new lover. Desire's actions can range from generous to malicious, often showing a casual sense of cruelty. They have a propensity for meddling in Dream's affairs and are known for their capricious nature. While sometimes untrustworthy and cruel, they're not always in the wrong, as noted by Destruction. Desire occasionally collaborates with her siblings Despair and Delirium, but they maintain a more distant relationship with the others like Dream, Death, Destiny, and Destruction.
You okay?
Miranda Walker, Desire's daughter. Miranda Walker, the mother of Rose Walker and daughter of Unity Kincaid, has a unique and mysterious history. She was actually born to Desire in the year 1932, during a period when Unity Kincaid was affected by something called the sleepy sickness, which was basically the result of Dream's capture. You see, it led people to experience weird dreams, or worse, some of them went into a coma. Unaware of her true origins, Miranda was raised by a foster family. In fact, she later moved from England to the United States when she was a young child and ultimately settled in or near Seattle. When she came of age, Miranda married a man named Bert Paulson. Together, they had a daughter named Rose in 1968 and a son named Jed around 1977. However, their marriage ended in divorce in 1982, with Bert relocating to Florida along with her son Jed, and consequently, he severed ties with Miranda. She subsequently raised Rose as a single mother in New Jersey. In 1989, Miranda received an invitation from Unity, who had finally managed to locate her daughter. Miranda and Rose traveled to England, where Miranda discovered the truth about her origins. This reunion prompted further family connections, leading Miranda and Unity to request Rose's assistance in investigating the whereabouts of Jed. Unfortunately, though, Miranda faced the possibility of losing her newfound family once more. After several weeks of their reunion, Unity suffered a stroke, leaving Miranda torn between her ailing mother in England, and even Jed was clinging to life in Florida. Sadly, Unity passed away during the night, but miraculously, Jed awakened the next morning. In the wake of Unity's death, Miranda inherited a substantial sum. With these resources, she purchased a home outside Seattle, where she, Rose, and Jed chose to settle together and begin a new chapter in their lives. Rose Walker, Desire's granddaughter. Rose Walker, born in 1968 to Miranda Walker and Bert Paulson, spent her early years in New Jersey. Bert took Jed and moved to Florida, cutting off contact with Rose and Miranda. However, Bert's death in a car accident further distanced her from her brother and mother. As I already mentioned, in 1989, Rose and Miranda traveled to England to meet Rose's grandmother, Unity Kincaid. Rose located Jed, who had been living with abusive relatives. However, before she could reach him, his guardians were found dead, and Jed was taken by the Corinthian, a psychotic nightmare that had escaped the Dreaming. Rose found herself in a hotel hosting a serial killer convention where the Corinthian was the guest of honor. Rose was attacked but saved by Morpheus. Meanwhile, Rose's dream vortex abilities began to wreak havoc on the Dreaming while she slept. Morpheus sought to destroy her, but Unity appeared in the dream and sacrificed herself for Rose. After overcoming agoraphobia, which is the fear of being in situations where escape might be difficult, Rose pursued a career in writing. She resided in an apartment in Lyda Hall's building and cared for Lyda's son, Daniel. Jed Walker, Desire's grandson. Jed, born around 1977 to Miranda Walker and Bert Paulson, experienced a rough childhood marked by his parents' separation in 1982. Following their split, custody of Jed was granted to his father, Bert, who relocated to Brevard County, Florida. When Jed was 8 years old, Bert perished in a car accident. Following his loss, Jed found refuge with his grandfather, Ezra, a lightkeeper on Dolphin Island near Cape Canaveral. Jed's relationship with his grandfather was generally amicable. However, he had become emotionally withdrawn due to multiple family separations. Another tragedy struck when his grandfather died drowning in the sea in 1985. Subsequently, Jed was taken by his father's cousin Clarice and her husband Barnaby to the remote farmhouse in upstate Georgia. This new living arrangement turned nightmarish as the couple subjected Jed to severe abuse, primarily motivated by financial gain from fostering him. Jed endured starvation and extreme forms of physical mistreatment. A year later, when he attempted to escape, Clarice and Barnaby, fearing the loss of their welfare checks, confined him to a dark basement devoid of basic amenities. Here, Jed's only solace was sleep, where he became the central character of a vibrant comic book-like dream world. This dream world featured superheroes Lyta Hall and Hector Hall, known as the Sandman, who treated him kindly, and they often went on magical adventures. Unbeknownst to Jed, Lyta, and Hector, their seemingly extended dreams were in reality a pocket dimension within the dreaming. Morpheus, the true Sandman, discovered this secret realm during the quest to restore order to the dreaming. He intervened in Jed's dream, destroying the pocket dimension and liberating Lyta and Jed. The ensuing release of energy damaged the farmhouse, leading to Jed's rescue by his sister Rose. Reunited with his mother Miranda, who lived near Seattle, Jed began his journey towards recovery and a return to a more normal life. Ivy Walker, Desire's great-granddaughter. Not much is known about Ivy Walker apart from the fact that she was born out of a one-night stand between Rose Walker and a man named Jack Holdaway. Daniel Hall, New Dream. In the Sandman series, Daniel's origin links back to Morpheus' imprisonment by Roderick Burgess. During this time, two dream creatures, Brute and Glob, escaped from the dreaming and created a version of the deceased superhero Hector Hall called the Sandman, along with his pregnant wife Lyta within their own dreaming pocket. This was the same one that I spoke about while talking about Jed. When Morpheus escaped, he recaptured Brute and Glob, banishing them to darkness, and returned Hector to the realm of the deceased while releasing Lyta to the waking world. Morpheus informed Lyta that he would one day claim her unborn son Daniel. After Daniel's birth, Morpheus revealed himself to the child in the waking world. About a year later, Daniel started interacting with dreaming's inhabitants in his dreams, especially at the House of Secrets. Daniel's kidnapping of Loki and Puck triggered a series of events, including Lyta's descent into madness. Morpheus sent Matthew and Corinthian to rescue Daniel, bringing him to Dream's palace. Later, Lyta arrived with the intention of killing Morpheus, but hesitated upon seeing Daniel still alive. Following Morpheus' demise, Daniel became the new Lord of Dreams and forgave Lyta. In later events, he saved his mortal parents, Hector and Lyta. In conclusion, Neil Gaiman's iconic comic book series introduced us to these mesmerizing characters. Netflix's live-action adaptation, The Sandman, has brought some of these characters to life, offering both faithful representations and fresh interpretations. With the first season showing a glimpse of the endless and promising more to come, the show has a rich source material from the comics to draw from, while also leaving room for imaginative, original characters tailored for the medium of live action. And if you liked our content, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to us if you haven't already. Have a good one and be safe.
Are you going to kill me?
I could. Perhaps I will.